And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Bullet Grill House High School Sports Pregame Show. Kraig, Erwin, Brian, Besh, Chris Moran on the far end down there. We're here Wednesday night at Bullet Grill House, waiting on the Astros to come on. 6:37 first pitch for the Houston Astros on Wednesday night, and Bullet Grill House is going to be packed tonight for the Astros game.
I hope.
I'm telling you, I'm seeing new faces already as we're set up here on the patio on the far end. Got the big checkers board up here, the cornhole board set out here at Bullet Grill House on the patio. So
it was always the plan, when we put out the artificial turf out here to have some games up and let the kids come out and play, or the adults come out and play sometimes, and give you something to do while you're watching the game, having a cold drink.
Wednesday night's bingo night too.
We're getting ready for bingo. It should be a fun night with bingo and the Astros.
Bingo and the Astros going to fill the house up here at Bullet Grill House. And then, Chris, did you notice Brian? I think he traded in the maroon. He's a straight Michigan fan.
I saw that.
I mean, he's got the blue.
I said he's seen the light. Finally, he's getting ready for the blue out this week or for next weekend.
You wear one jacket that's blue and yellow, and all of a sudden you're a Michigan fan.
Well, I'm just saying it's an Adidas jacket. It's straight blue, yellow. I mean, let me look at the back. Does it have the Michigan logo?
It does not. It does not.
It has Adidas on the back, but it's close enough, I guess. So, man, we had a good week of Week 8 of high school football, Brian.
We did. Team I covered didn't do as well as you'd want them to, but no, very interesting week. And we mentioned it before, but some of these districts a little more cloudy than the week before. Couple of them a lot more clear, and there's a clear dividing line, and you can almost tell right now, just 2 games in the district, and some of them who's in the playoffs and who's not, and so it's going to set up some late season matchups. I know we've talked about several districts. Week 10 is kind of a key week, and we've already circled it in a few districts where Week 10 is going to decide some district championships. I was talking to Coach Ratliff last night, and they've got an early game this week. They're going to play on a Thursday. They got rescheduled. And they're excited about their next couple of games coming up. And after this week, they've got a big rivalry with Groveton. They've got the big showdown with Centerville, 2 undefeated teams in district so far. So, I'm really excited to see how some of these are going to play out.
No, you and I both. I'm excited for it. We go through and we start running down some scores, and we'll cover the pick-ems from last week and who did what. But Dayton was on the road at P&G. Brian jumped on the Dayton bandwagon.
Yeah, and that's all it took to kill him, right?
He was like full force, front row, Chris, last week, and took Dayton over P&G, and P&G wins that one. 35-28 was the final. But that game was a barn burner all night long. I mean, I was watching the scores over there at Westwood, and that game was back and forth, and Dayton had the lead there for a while. And P&G comes back midway through the fourth quarter and able to put some points on the board and pull away with the win over Dayton.
And regardless of what happens this season, I think you can say that Dayton football is on its way back. It was really in a
bad
hole.
Yes.
And just some of the people I know over there, I won't say this too loud, but there's a time where I lived in Dayton, Texas, and made some contacts over there, and I know some people that cover the area and still pay attention to Dayton football, and they were telling me that there was an overhaul needed, and it finally took place. And
well, it was obvious though, Brian.
Yeah.
Is the last 4 years of Dayton Bronco football, they couldn't fill the stands. They weren't winning games. I mean, if they finished 500, they were lucky.
They were trying to fill the hole with and that AD hole with people off that Jerry Stewart tree. Whenever they were having so much success, it was Jerry Stewart that was the AD over there and head football coach, and they wanted that same type of success, and they thought, well, hey, you got to grab one of Jerry's guys, right?
One of his successors.
And that didn't work, and so finally they cleared house, and it's paid dividends for them.
Another game that went on this last week down there at the Swamp Bowl, East Chambers at Anahuac. And that game there, we talked extensively last week on that and talking about the Anahuac Panthers. Anahuac comes out on top of that game. 45-20 was the final there, with Anahuac getting the win and looking forward to seeing what they do throughout the rest of the season. And then going into the playoffs, it's going to be a lot of fun. Another game that was in our pick'ems, Kirbyville on the road at Tarkington. And we said it over there on the podcast this week over there on Lone Star Gridiron Network. I persuaded you into that Tarkington. You had Kirbyville picked.
I wanted to pick Kirbyville. The fact that Tarkington's had such a good season, winning a couple of games, that coaching staff coming in late and able to do what they've been doing to this point is super impressive. And you think as the season goes on, obviously they've got nowhere to go but up because it's a first year staff and they're getting their program into place. And it's peer pressure, man. I let you guys talk me into it.
Well, and I did a good job. I'm a good salesman. And I sold you on that one because I think we talked for about 3 or 4 minutes on that, and you was able to go with it. Woodlands at College Park, a game I threw in there, some big schools, just see who's paying attention. And we went unanimously here at the Bullet Grill House High School Sports Show, pregame show, with the Woodlands. 34-3 was the final there, and the Woodlands get the win over College Park, and looks like they're going to finish up in the 2 spot there out of District 13 6A, in the likes of New Caney that's leading that district.
And when in doubt, go with the quarterback that you know that's going to perform, and Trey Mettauer is that guy.
Yeah. We're going to jump to a little smaller school, and then we'll go to finish up the last couple games there in the pick'ems from this last week. Cold Spring on the road at Palestine Westwood, and y'all both went Cold Spring on this one. I went the other way to Palestine Westwood in the pick'ems, and
I still feel good about my pick.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you felt good about it because it was a 21-19 game, and
from what you say, should have been a tie game.
It should have been a tie game. It should have went to overtime. Bad call by the officials. I went back even this week a couple times and looked at the replay of the so-called false start. Nobody moved on that football field, and the ball was snapped, the score was made, and the flag come out, and they called false start. I'm not saying that official wanted Westwood to win. I'm just saying that Westwood won, and we had a 2-point conversion that got called back for a false start. A lot better football defensively, was able to stop the run. 2 evenly matched football teams between Palestine and Cold Spring, and it's going to be interesting to see what the Trojans can do coming in this week with Diboll, and then the following week Battle of St. Cena against Shepherd. Moving into our final game that was in the pick'ems this last week is Little Cypress Mauriceville on the road to your Livingston Lions.
Yeah, we talked. I talked to Coach Vanover on Monday, and whenever we said that, the worst thing that happened for Livingston was LCM losing the week before because, they're backed into a corner. They're down in an 0-2 hole and are facing an 0-2 hole if they were to drop one versus Livingston, and came out like their hair was on fire. They scored 2 quick touchdowns. Livingston's down 14-0 before they know it. Livingston, big injury to star running back and defensive end. They still drive the ball down to the 1-yard line. Can't punch it in because there's a false start at the 1-yard line. As soon as you send someone in motion, that keeps them off the scoreboard, and just seems like the team was deflated from that point. But, probably the worst thing that could have happened was LCM losing that week before because you've got a district where every win, every loss is magnified. You've got Lumberton that's sitting on top of the district at 2-0. You've got Splendora that's sitting at the bottom of the district at 0-2, and then you got 4 teams in the middle that are at 1-1, all tied right now. So every game's a big deal.
It's going to come down to a LCM and Huffman game, really to punch Huffman out and put them. And I think you take your 4 teams out of that district. You take Lumberton, Livingston, Vidor, and LCM are going to be your overall top 4 teams, not in any particular order right now, but I think that's how you kind of look at it. Look how that District 10-4A is going to shake out as we.
And honestly, I wouldn't count Huffman out just yet. I really wouldn't, because it's a passing offense. It's a timing deal. They don't have it down right now. It doesn't look great right now, but I mean, they're probably not going to be the same team right now as they're going to be in a couple of weeks.
No, and I agree with that, but whenever Huffman's down, they're sitting at a 1-1 record right now in that district. So you look at that, and you look at who they have to play, you know, and that's how I'm kind of figuring things whenever I look at the schedule and look at the strength of schedule as you produce on and progress on further throughout the district. Let's talk about some other games that went on real quick while we have some time here in the first segment here at the Bullet Grill House High School Sports Pregame Show. Conroe Oak Ridge defeats Cleveland 54-0. Game that I thought was going to be a tight game, Brian, and ended up getting kind of was one-sided as Oak Ridge puts up 54 against Cleveland. Summer Creek and Kingwood 56-7 was the final there. New Caney on a Thursday night game last week, 44-0 over Grand Oaks. Crosby defeats Baytown Sterling 69-21. Lufkin falls to McKinney North 53-51. Porter defeats LaPorte 35-14, and we talked about Porter in our podcast, talking about them on the rise. And you know, looking at their schedule, they could end up with a finishing a little bit above 500, at 500 or better in district, and which is a milestone for them.
And that Porter New Caney district over there, that's one of the ones that there looks to be some separation. Like there's a crack there, and if you're falling below the crack, then you're probably a few games down, and it's going to be very, very difficult to catch up. But there seems to be separation.
About 12 options for lunch, so it's always a great opportunity to come on out and watch a little sports. You know, there's always some sports on in the middle of the day. Watch some Motor Trend, watch some good TV. So come on out, watch some TV, and grab you a lunch during the week.
I told the wife just the other day about y'all's lunch up here, and she's been pretty busy and haven't been able to get away, but she did tell me she was going to make a trip up here, her and the girls at the office there at San Jack Promotions, to come up and get some lunch throughout the day, throughout the week. So a lot to do here at Bullet Grill House. We're here every Wednesday night. 6 p.m. getting kicked off with the High School Sports Pregame Show. Playoff baseball here at Bullet Grill House. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with segment 2 right after this.